$100 million in jury verdicts and settlements for serious injury victims, medical malpractice victims, and surviving family members of wrongful death victims. Trial Lawyers for Justice. This is a firm that does not handle frivolous lawsuits. They go after insurance company money, and they're darn good at it. They don't sell their clients out or settle cheaply. Trial Lawyers for Justice, the firm that goes the distance for you, their client. They treat their clients the way you would want your own family members taken care of. Nicholas Rowley, Dominic Pachota, and the other trial lawyers in the firm at Trial Lawyers for Justice, dedicated to representing the people and their families in Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, California, Wyoming, and many other states. Trial Lawyers for Justice. $100 million in settlements and jury verdicts already in 2016. 888-811-0844. Trial Lawyers for Justice.
Sports professor Rick Horrow with getting ready for the Super Bowl. Economic impact. Super Bowl 51 at NRG Stadium expected to bring upward of $500 million for the city of Houston. Last year's Super Bowl 50 in San Fran brought about $350 for the 2015 Super Bowl 720. But one thing Houston has on its side over the two predecessors, its layout and proximity to NRG Stadium, to the city's major economic hubs. Super Bowl 51 seeing significant international growth, according to the latest sales data from StubHub. Ticket prices for Super Bowl 51 holding, while things can always change in the open market in the last days leading up to Sunday. This one may stack up to be the most affordable Super Bowl in recent years. Compared to this time last year, the average ticket price sold about $4,600, down 11% from this time last year. Hard to beat the anniversary bonanza that was Super Bowl 50 in beautiful San Fran. Also happened to be Peyton Manning's last football game. StubHub also reports international demand higher than ever, with nearly 10% of total sales reports coming from purchasers outside the U.S. and as far away as Australia, Hong Kong, Brazil, Israel, and South Africa, which speaks not only to the global ticket popularity, but the access now provided to it. New media. Super Bowl, always one of the year's most watched live television events. The Patriots and Falcons, no different. Last year became the most watched Super Bowl NFL history, 114.4 million tuned in. And with more televisions and mobile devices capable of streaming the game, this year might break that marker. According to the Gazette, 16% of Super Bowl 51 viewers plan to watch via on-streaming apps on the web or online. Fox Sports delivering free live streaming in-game video, including a halftime show, through its Fox Sports Go apps for tablets and connected TV at foxsports.com. And after the game, the Super Bowl hangover ensues. Kraft Heinz Company, the maker of Heinz ketchup, claimed that more than 16 million people call in sick the day after the game. I think it's more, by the way. The company believes Super Bowl Monday should be a national holiday, hence why it started a somewhat tongue-in-cheek campaign by giving its salaried employees the day off. I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow, and that's Beyond the Scoreboard.
Up next, when we get back on Beyond the Scoreboard, we bring you our live broadcast that we recorded on site in Los Angeles at last week's NHL All-Star Game.
Tired of that constantly leaking toilet? I'm Danny Lipford with tips for today's homeowner. Stay tuned and we'll talk about stopping that water bandit, the leaky toilet, right after this.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Want to take back control? A Generac home standby generator protects your home against power outages every second of every day, all year long, automatically, whether you're home or away. Control your power, control your life with a Generac home standby generator.
For more information, visit Generac.com or call 855-886-8203.
A leaky toilet makes an irritating sound, but also wastes dozens and dozens of gallons of water every day. The culprit most often is the rubber flapper at the bottom of the tank. Over time, they can crack or become deformed so they don't seal as well as they should. A replacement is only a few dollars and the fix just a few minutes. First, turn off the water supply and empty the tank by flushing it. Remove the old flapper by unsnapping it where it is hinged at the base of the tower. You'll also have to disconnect its chain from the flush lever. The new flapper snaps right back in its place, and its chain is then attached to the flush lever so there's little or no slack when the flap is closed. Then turn back on the water supply, and you're done. I'm Danny Lipford with tips for today's homeowner.
It's Eric here from Together.Guide with your Together Minute. Ask anyone who's married, and they'll tell you that no matter how healthy the marriage, you're going to disagree at times. Sometimes the conflict is easy to handle, and sometimes it'll make you wonder why you ever got married in the first place. Either way, when the inevitable conflict arises, you essentially have three options: break up, ignore it, or use the conflict to deepen your relationship. Now, I suggest the third. And yes, it's easier said than done, but here's the Jedi mind trick. Stop convincing and start understanding. Fundamentally, we're all arguing because deep down we think we need to prove our point in order to be safe. And it might be true. Regardless, understanding the deep trigger of fear behind the argument is your access point to truly knowing yourself and your partner. If you can do that, you'll create a love that lasts a lifetime. This is Eric Newton from the Together Podcast. To learn more about our show, visit our website, www.together.guide. The Together Minute is brought to you by Match.com. 1 in 3 relationships start online, and more start on Match than any other dating site. So if you're single and looking to meet people, you've got to get on Match. They're not only number one in first dates, but in second dates too. Meeting your match has never been easier. Just go to Match.com/together, and for a limited time, you can try Match for 7 days free. That's 7 days completely free to search and connect with thousands on Match. So go ahead, create your account now at Match.com/together. That's Match.com/together.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, this is the Facebook Live that I've been telling you about, at least for 10, 15 minutes. This is a big deal. This is the 100th anniversary of the NHL. It's the 100 greatest players, the NHL, at their Microsoft Theater event on Friday night. The All-Star Skills Competition. This is the third All-Star game held in L.A. Promise it's the best because it celebrates something, frankly, that a lot of leagues really don't do. And we're using the best first. Gary Bettman and the NHL guys may not think so, but Luke Robitaille, who is the president of business operations for the LA Kings, and maybe even more important, he appeared in episode 4 of Bones for Fox. Maybe even more important than that, he's one of the 100 best, most revered, most known, most important players in the NHL, based on the Microsoft Theater event of last Friday night. Long-winded intro. How you doing?
That was a big intro.
Yeah, big intro.
The Bones episode
was really good. Well, you're proud of that. You look at the Wikipedia page, and that's there somewhere.
That's there on top. It's
with a lot of the other movies.
Sad and funny.
Sad but funny. So, obviously, everybody asks you this. What does it mean to be picked as one of the 100?
It's a little bit. It's humbling. It's like I was just a kid, loved the game, was playing the game. Used to idolize guys like Gretzky and the Montreal Canadiens. I grew up in Montreal, and the next thing you know, we were the coolest thing about the event was being in the green room with everyone.
Yeah.
Where you look around, you see Bobby Orr, Dennis Potvin, and all that. So that was really neat. It's humbling. It's one of those like I can't believe I'm part of that group.
Well, and the NHL did it smart, and Gary will talk about it a little later. That nobody got ranked, right?
Yeah. No, I think no one got ranked, and I think it's great. I mean, it was the right way to do it, and it keeps everyone talking, which makes it fun, I guess.
Yeah, it does. Makes it fun.
Yeah.
After the event, certainly everybody was talking about it. And the NHL does it better than most, better than everybody. Your role as the kind of face of and organizer of, as president of business operations, the King, this All-Star game, how much extra work?
It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work, very taxing on all of our staff, but it's because we care, and at the same time, it was fun, and, we wanted the All-Star game. Gary kind of gave it to us, and we took it very seriously. We want to make sure every fan that was coming was going to have the best time, and so far it's been a big success. We're looking forward to finishing off with a big bang today, but it's been great.
I'll ask everybody this, see what your opinion is. The All-Star bump means ticket price adjustments next year, suite sales. How important is the All-Star bump to the business? Or is the most important issue how you perform on the ice?
There's not really an all-star bump where you're raising ticket price because of that. It's more of a thank you to your fans.
Yeah.
And it's something that if you're a season seat holder, you are allowed to get like your own seats for the All-Star game, which is a big perk. And they had to buy because the gate's not ours. But at the same time, it's a great thing. And if you're a Kings fan and you host the All-Star game, you have as much pride as the player playing, because there's something very special about it. And it's, for us, it's not about giving us an opportunity to raise what we're doing. Like, we run our business, we have a plan, and we stick to the plan no matter what. We just thought adding the All-Star game was a big perk for our season seat holders.
No disrespect, because you can kill me, but this is factual more than anything else. You spend a year as the president of the Omaha Lancers.
That's right.
And then, before that, you were one of the best players on the ice, certainly one of the top 2 in the history of the Kings. What qualified you to come into the president of business operations for the Kings?
What qualified me, I think, at first was my passion for wanting to change the culture of our organization. It was to no one's fault that AG was becoming so big. We had 25,000 employees, 60 different businesses, and we needed someone to come in to work every day and pay attention to the LA Kings. Because if you're a season seat holder, you only want someone to pay attention to your team. You don't really care that AG's got the Galaxy and they signed David Beckham and they own real estate. You're like, what are you doing for me if I'm spending $8,000-$10,000 a year in my season seats? So that was my role, to come in, change the culture, and to change our organization. And credit to Dan Beckerman and Mr. Answers, they let us run with it, and we kind of took a bunch of people that were great workers and became a Kings staff, and we've doubled our revenue since.
Well, good for you, doubling revenue since. And good for your stability, because I'm sure that comes up from time to time in contract negotiations for you, pal. But the bottom line also, this is a business show for business people, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know how a guy who became, and I got your numbers, 1,300 points and 600 goals and 8 All-Stars, what the hardest part of a transition was to be director of business operations of a portion of a giant company.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson you got to learn is, first of all, you got to be a lot more patient when you get on the business side, because when you're a hockey player, you're an athlete or a coach, if you have a bad game and you make a mistake, the very next day you have a practice and another game. Yeah. So you can fix that. If you win the next game, everything's good. If you make a mistake in business, it might take you 6 months, a year to fix it. So you got to, the preparation's the same. The idea of having a team spirit and bringing the office where the person selling the tickets or your VP of marketing, they all have a role for your organization to be great. It goes the same when you play on a team where the fourth line, if you want to win a championship, if your fourth line is the best fourth line, you're going to win a lot of championship, and they're just as important as the first line. So that's kind of the mentality we have in our organization. But definitely the biggest lesson is you got to be a lot more patient when you're on the business side.
Yeah, I bet you're more patient now than you were May 25 of 07. It's been almost 10 years, right, since you've been in this position?
Yeah, 10
What's
years.
the biggest thing you've learned since you started?
That if you see it and you believe it, you can pretty much do anything you want. Like people have said that for years that we weren't a real good hockey market and so forth, and we refused. We just acted like where we belong here. And we've acted as an organization, like we take a lot of pride in our fans and what we do, and hockey is booming in California, so it's pretty special. We have 5 teams from the AHL here. We started our own division 3 years ago. No one thought it'd be possible to do. We're selling out those arenas everywhere, so it's if you see it, you believe it, and you have a plan, you can accomplish a lot.
I guess that was leading into my next question, which was, what are the unique challenges of running a Sunbelt franchise?
I think LA's got its own animal. I don't believe this is not a great football town. We lost 2 teams.
Yeah.
So no one will tell me it's a great football town.
By the way, we're getting them back, and guess what? They're not going to be that good when they get here. By the
exactly.
way.
So it still remains to be seen. What this city is about competing, and you're competing with everyone. And I think if you do your business well and you pay attention to what you do, you don't have to compete with the Lakers or Clippers. We're good at what we do. We stick to what we're good at, and we believe in what we do. And the most important that our fans want to know is, are we willing to do whatever it takes to win? Now, that doesn't mean you're going to win every year, but if they know that, they're going to follow. And that's why we've been selling out now for over 5 years.
fight for LA relevance. Let's talk about that. So secretly, because we're only with 3-4 million people around here, so this secret's safe for us. You're sitting there and you realize that the Lakers, not a good example because they're owned by the same company, but Clippers losing another game, Rams get shut out. You're saying, boy, that's great for us? Or is it like we have enough people in a 13 million person market where every team being successful helps everybody else?
I think the big competition is probably more in sponsorship.
Yeah.
Because we're all fighting a little bit for the same dollars. As far as our fans, we know there's 2.5 million hockey fans in California. Everything we're doing, like an all-star game or anything else, we're trying to grow that to 3 to 3.5 to 4 million and to 5 and 6. And that's our next goal for us, is to get sticks in kids' hands that maybe have never played hockey, have never been around.
What about in the inner city? Is that a hard thing to do?
Actually, no. Right now, we just made a deal with YMCA.
Awesome.
We're going to be an all YMCA. We're going to distribute 25,000 sticks, and we're going to go and teach those kids to play the game. And we believe the more you play, the more you get involved. But we're sticking to what we're good at. Yeah. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel and so forth. And you know what? Our fans believe in what we're doing, and that's why they're supporting us.
Do you like what's happening with Gary Bettman's on later? So be careful. Do you like everything the NHL is doing?
Yeah, because for the last 7-8 years, we're promoting big events finally. We're finally doing big events, whether it's the outdoor game. It is just a game, but they're big events. And when you do an outdoor game, it creates a buzz for sure in the market. But at the end of the day, when you're outdoor, there's more people watching those games than if they were just playing in their arena that night. That's the bottom line. I love they're working hard on promoting the Stanley Cup Finals, the playoffs, keep pushing the game.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
This family is at home, but they won't be answering the door. They know that the pounding on the door is a process server from the court waiting to hand them foreclosure documents. So instead of enjoying the home they worked so hard to afford, they sit hiding in the dark.
Mom, what was that?
But it doesn't have to be this way. This family can save their home, but they must act fast. Call Allied State Foreclosure Solutions at 800-274-7312. If you're being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, missed a payment on your mortgage, been a victim of a predatory loan, or are upside down on your home, it's critical that you call Allied State Foreclosure Solutions now. 800-274-7312. Allied State Foreclosure Solutions has an attorney in your area that will meet and speak with you. You can stop the foreclosure process, lower your monthly mortgage payments, save your home and your credit, but you must act now. Call 800-274-7312. 800-274-7312. Not available in all states. Paid non-attorney spokesperson.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now, 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, this is the Facebook Live that I've been telling you about, at least for 10, 15 minutes. This is a big deal. This is the 100th anniversary of the NHL. It's the 100 greatest players, the NHL, at their Microsoft Theater event on Friday night. The All-Star Skills Competition. This is the third All-Star game held in L.A. At least I've been, ladies and gentlemen. There was some issue. Lee runs the Staples Center and runs, basically all the venues at AG. But what's the title?
I'm president of Staples Center, Microsoft Theater, and LA Live. Everything that you see around us and behind us, except for the hotels. I'm not a hotel guy.
But he's also a definitive facility industry guy, and he's been on top of the facility industry for 60, 70 years.
I'd say 29.
29.
You've been 60, 70 years in the broadcasting era, so I'll catch up with you, but not yet.
All right. Name all the events that have been held at the Staples Center in 30 seconds. Go.
In 30 seconds, there have been every event that you could have ever imagined that's been held at Staples Center. We've hosted the biggest, the best, and that's why we designed this building this way, as well as the LA Live campus behind us.
Very well done. What's the one event so you've had the Democratic Convention, you've had the Lakers, the Clippers, the Grammys, all of that. What's the one event that got away that you want to get?
There really hasn't been one event that's actually got away. We've been fortunate enough. This is our 4th All-Star game that we're hosting. Next year we'll host our 5th All-Star game. The interesting thing is there's only one building that I know of, and you'll have to fact check me here. The Chicago Stadium back in 73 and 74 hosted back-to-back NBA, NHL. And in 76, the Philadelphia Spectrum hosted both of them. So now you fast forward, and we're, I believe, the first modern-era building to host the NHL and the NBA in back-to-back years.
Interesting. So we do know that Chicago Stadium had the All-Star game in 48, 61, 74. They had it 3 times, but that's pretty good. But, nowhere near the diversity of this building. Designed for probably state-of-the-art in the arena business, I can say that. 16 years ago, $407 million. Got your money's worth?
Oh, yes, we did. And the good thing about this is we have an ownership group led by Mr. Anschutz and Dan Beckerman that allow us to pour money back into this building to keep it refreshed. This building is now going into its 18th year, as you mentioned, and a lot of buildings of this size and this nature, after 20, look to do something new. We've been fortunate enough that every year we poured funds back into it to keep it refreshed, to keep it looking great, and to keep it cutting edge from a technology standpoint.
Give us some examples of the, it says in a lot of the PR stuff, $30 million of renovations. But give us some of these.
The last couple of years. What we did the last couple of years in our renovation program was a 3-year start. We redid Team LA. We added our DraftKings Fantasy Sports Bar and Lounge. We just finished 14 concession stands that we refreshed. And this past summer, without shutting the building down, we refreshed and reconcepted 170 suites, the 154 permanent suites that are leased out on an annual basis, and our 16 event suites that we themed them, a Venice theme, a Hollywood theme, an LA sports theme, a Grammy Museum theme.
So we hear the music in the background, Chick Hearn Plaza, LA Live. The synergies are first class and above anything else in the world, frankly. But give us some examples of the synergies and the compatibilities between the retail, the hotel space, and the Staples Center.
Well, I think the first thing you have to understand is the minute you get downtown and the minute you get to LA Live, you no longer need wheels. By that I mean a car, because we've got 19 restaurants here. We've got 2 hotels on property, 2 hotels right across the street. We have the Microsoft Theater that can host an event for 7,100 people, like we did for the NHL 100. We've got the Conga Room that hosts 1,000 people. We've got Club Novo. It's a 2,300-seat music hall. We've got 19 restaurants. Then, if that's not enough, we've got a 14-screen Regal Cineplex and a Lucky Strike bowling alley here as well.
Lee doesn't know the numbers, by the way. This is really difficult because these are not something that he can pull up. He's the best. Tell us exactly as much as you can how the whole balance sheets work. We can't ask you to kind of get in the business, and Dan won't get the details of it, but Staples Center is a linchpin, and a lot of the events are related to and brought into the Staples Center, but it's access to all of the AEG worldwide events. How's it all work?
The whole Staples Center back in 1999, I believe, and Dan can attest to this later, started the whole revitalization of downtown Los Angeles. And if you drive around and you look around this town now, there are probably about 10 to 12 cranes that are up with future construction, with hotels and condos and apartment complexes. But everything started with Staples Center. Due to the success of Staples Center and our tenants that play in this building and the artists that came here, the rest of LA Live was developed. Because of this campus, we now have the ability to have synergies with our sister properties, not only in the United States, but internationally as well with the O2. So we have a chance to do things that take them across the pond and bring them back here as well.
Everybody talking about fan amenities. You've had over 50 million fans who've come into this building, right? 50 million, is that the number?
There's about 3.5 to 4 million a year that go through our doors just in this building alone. Across the street, we do probably 15 million visitors a year.
And you know that the industry buzzword is decouching. Everybody now is trying to figure out how to get people off the couches and into the building. How important and what specifically are you doing to maximize fan amenities?
Well, we work with our teams. We work with the Clippers, we work with the Lakers and the Kings and the Sparks to give them the technology that they need, the Wi-Fi, the beacons in and around the building, the updated scoreboard, the updated sound system here. We continually pour money into the building to make those things viable and make those things current for those teams to actually design their production, design their game entertainment. We help them with everything that they want to do. We vet everything they want to do, and we're side by side with all four teams.
Is the building getting old? It is 17 years. You talked about the money you put into renovation, but you don't have a public-private partnership in a way. Of course you do as far as public support. But do you ever wake up and say, look at all those buildings where there's 100% public money here, and we don't have any public money to work with. Man, I wish we were like X.
Actually, no, because we've got a great ownership group who understand that you don't build a $400 million building and not maintain it and keep it up and always add new technology and new things to keep it refreshed. I mean, we're in the entertainment capital of the world, Los Angeles. We're downtown. We need to have a fresh building. And the men and women who work here do a great job in maintaining it. And you'd be hard-pressed to walk this building today and say, oh my gosh, it's 17, 18 years old. And we've had other people that have walked the building this past week and are amazed at how good it looks for the amount of events we do a year, which is close to 240, depending on playoffs, and the amount of people that come through our doors on a nightly basis.
Finally, what's the next big, special, secret event or project that you're doing here that you can't announce but you want to scoop for me?
Well, you know what? Everybody knows what we do here. I mean, we've hosted the Grammys 17 times. We're going to come up and host that again. We've got the NBA All-Star Game coming. We have the NCAA Western Regional coming in 2018. We are working with our partners, LA Sports Entertainment Commission and Kathy Schlossman's group, and the Los Angeles Rams to bid on 23, 24, 25 Final Four, which would be actually hosted in the new stadium in Inglewood, but LA Live and the campus would be the host hotel.
Perfect synergy. By the way, I'm getting my tickets now because when you guys do something, you don't fail. Largely because of you, but also because of our next guy. So thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Please
enjoy the game today.
Thank you. All right, Michael, next victim.
There are no victims with the Horrow.
We start at the kind of middle level, ladies and gentlemen, with one of the 100 best athletes of all time. Then we go to a building operator. Then we go to the guy that has the entire entertainment world at his fingertips, and he runs by far the best, biggest worldwide entertainment conglomerate in the world. IMG aside, AEG, Dan Becker.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. I love it. I love it.
How was that for you?
You're all over the map this morning. You got a little bit something for everyone.
Well, here's the deal. So he had the 30-second test. You have to name every property AEG owns in 30 seconds. Go.
I quit. I can't do it. I can't do it. But we're in downtown LA, so I'll go with
be generic.
Staples Center, LA Live, the JW and the Ritz, and the Convention Center. So that's the focus of this weekend. That's for sure.
Well, clearly focus of this weekend, but also give us seriously kind of the elevator speech of the global reach of AEG.
Well, we're a worldwide company. we have venues and entertainment districts and sports teams and our live music company that span every part of the globe. So from our AEG Live with our music division, they're everywhere from Shanghai to Los Angeles and beyond. Our venues, we have over 125 venues all over the world that we either own, operate, or manage in every country on every continent. And our sports properties, obviously, that we're here for All-Star Weekend, we have over a dozen teams in various sports all over the world. And, we bring them all together, and that's what we try to do from a business standpoint, is we like to have all these pillars of our companies working together. We like to have everything integrated, our venues, our real estate, our entertainment districts, a really big part of our company that's even growing more and more every day. Like LA Live, we have those kind of districts all over the world, and we're building more.
Now, Dan, remembering that Reuters is we're Reuters and with the NBC kind of combination, this is going across the world as well. So generally, is it easier or harder to do global business today than it was 5-10 years ago?
I think it's easier today. There are still some areas of the globe that are challenging to work with, and having partnerships is important, and understanding how to do business in each country is extremely important. And we have great local partners throughout the world, whether we're in Europe or whether we're in China, or as we're looking to grow further into Asia. We have a great project in Germany that's being developed right now, not unlike what we have here at LA Live with an arena which has been open for a few years, and we have an entertainment district under construction in Berlin, which is a beautiful project that's going to be opening in 2018. So we're continuing this, and as we grow internationally, we like to seek partners that can help us grow. And we need to understand the communities where we do business, and that's important to us. And it started in LA because that's our home, but it's important for us to really understand the communities and be engaged.
Come on back to Beyond the Scoreboard. Up next, Rick Horrow's featured interview with NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill, and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
When it's time to get busy on Valentine's Day, celebrate your date the Trojan way. We got condoms galore, but wait, there's more. Buy one, get one half off at the store. Bearskin, Magnum, ends, whatever. As long as you're wearing one when you're together, just wrap it up, wrap it up. On Valentine's Day, make sure you wrap it up. Buy any 10 or 12 count box of Trojan condoms at your local Walgreens and get a second box of equal or lesser price half off with your Balance Rewards card starting January 29th until February 25th. Wrap it up, wrap it up.
Trojan.
Allergy sufferers are hearing a lot of numbers these days about symptoms and relief. But the number sufferers want most is zero, as in zero nasal allergy symptoms. And nothing gets you closer to zero than Nasacort. Because unlike antihistamines that stop only one cause of your allergy symptoms, Nasacort stops more. And stopping more gets you closer to zero. For 24-hour relief of your worst nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion, choose Nasacort. It stops more of what makes you miserable. Use as directed.
Pedro Fernandez here. You might know me as the host of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, but this time I'm here to talk about that four-letter word everybody dreads, pain. If you have back pain or knee pain like I do, hey, you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. I'm talking about if Medicare is your primary medical insurance, and guess what? You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. Anything to help me with the pain Hey, it makes it more manageable, gets my attention, folks. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for your back, ankle, knee, or shoulder, guess what? Give the Health Alert Hotline a call, toll-free, 1-800-428-1570. 1-800-428-1570. You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. 1-800-428-1570. The Health Alert Hotline, 1-800-428-1570.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow. This is the Facebook Live that I've been telling you about, at least for 10, 15 minutes. This is a big deal. This is the 100th anniversary of the NHL. It's the 100 greatest players, the NHL, at their Microsoft Theater event on Friday night. The All-Star Skills Competition. This is the third All-Star game held in L.A. Promise it's the best because it celebrates something, frankly, that a lot of leagues really don't do. And we're using the best first, Gary Bettman. Gotta go to the next thing.
We got 5 minutes.
Wow. How's that, ladies and gentlemen? Wasn't that really good? The commissioner of the NHL, Gary Bettman, who has been a friend, but friends don't tell friends they've only got 5 minutes. Well, now it's 4.5.
Well,
right?
You're wasting time.
All right, here we go.
You're not the only interview I have today.
Shocking. I've used the word, let's start this way, I've used the word comfortable with your job since you're the longest standing commissioner. You never liked that word. Predictable, stable, consistent, there's been a rhythm. Are those better?
A little bit, but I don't understand why you feel the need to have a one-word soundbite as a characterization. The fact is we're in a position where we've never been stronger and the opportunity has never been greater. And so people who are comfortable don't like to seize opportunities. It's not about stability, it's about how we continue to grow.
Very well done. A bit of advice, since this is a business show, to business people who want to lead their organizations for 26 years and be good at it, what would the advice be?
You need to have a vision. You need to work hard. You need to make sure your people, your team understands your vision, buys into it, and you need to empower them to be the best they can be.
You just led a tremendous weekend, which includes the 100th year celebration of a successful business. What's most important indicator of success to you? Franchise values, revenues, profits, footprint across North America, or a combination?
Why do you like to boil things down to one element?
Because I only have 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Life and business isn't that simple. The fact is, all of those criteria and measures are important. And most important, perhaps, is fan engagement. And you can break that down into a whole host of subcategories as well. In the final analysis, you need to have strong, healthy franchises. You need to have a game that's competitive and that is compelling and entertaining. You need to have great players, great people for our fans to connect with, and you need to have a great fan base.
Labor peace is hard-earned, and there's healthy respect for your relationship with the Players Union now. The biggest key to negotiating success, preparation, leverage, etc. Don't want to boil it down, maybe. Go ahead, tell us why. What?
You need to have a mutual understanding of each side's goals and objectives. And if, in fact, those goals and objectives overlap to any extent, it's inexcusable if you can't make a deal. But if the circles don't touch, you've got to try and persuade the other side as to why your agenda, your vision is the right one.
You look at the demographics of this Sunbelt city team all-star game, and you realize that USA Hockey, I guess, has now 365,000 in their youth program, and D1, ASU, college programs, et cetera, et cetera. How important is growing the game in the U.S. through the youth level?
Well, growing the game everywhere is important at all levels, particularly the grassroots levels. And it's not just about fans. It's also about having great young prospects come into the league as the next generation of players. You talk about the so-called Sun Belt. I mean, look at the first pick in the draft at the last draft, Austin Matthews from Scottsdale, Arizona, who would tell you if as a 4-year-old he wasn't taken, I think, by his uncle to a Coyotes game, he probably never would have played hockey. what's also interesting is California's growth has been phenomenal. I think California, there's the 6th or 7th most number of registered young players in our game. When the Kings got here, maybe 2,000 were registered, and now they're approaching 30,000 for the state of California. And that's a testament to the Kings, the Ducks, and the Sharks.
All-star games in the future.
Yes, we'll have some.
You will. And at the same time, every year? Cut the balance between...
You laugh at your own joke.
That's
good.
Well, only if I get laughter from you first. All-star games, the long-term choices, Canada, Sun Belt, Original Six.
Yes.
Yes to all.
Yeah,
Boston. Will Boston get one in the future?
Boston wants it. We recently had an outdoor game in Boston. Boston's had an all-star game since they've been in the new building. All our events have become so popular. Our fans, our clubs, the cities we play in all want them, and that's great.
Olympic hockey. You're not going to tell me whether you're going to go to the Olympics, are you?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing new in that.
Just quickly from a business perspective, though, the factors that you will have to ultimately evaluate to decide whether or not to go.
Well, it's incredibly disruptive. What business in the prime of its selling season shuts down for almost 3 weeks? It affects the competitiveness of the league. It affects the schedule, not just for those 3 weeks, but for the rest of the season with compression. We disappear when football and baseball are gone, and it's just us and basketball. It's very, very difficult to manage a season with that kind of disruption.
Are there any positives?
Well, there's the worldwide stage that the Olympics provide, except they don't promote NHL hockey. They take the players and run their own tournament, and it's great to have the world's best on best play, but in the final analysis, the restrictions that the IOC imposes are kind of difficult when you're in our situation, particularly since we're the only sports league that would, or sport that has to stop its season to participate, if we participate.
When will you reach the decision?
There's no deadline from our standpoint. It's really going to be for others to decide.
Okay. Just a couple more. Superstars, salary parity. Superstars are important in the league.
What is salary parity?
Well, salary parity is my shorthand of saying, is it important for you to have players who are making a lot more than other players, or is it important to make sure that most of the players make a lot more money than they're making today? Or is that a labor issue?
Well, first of all, it's important that you have a system in a sports league where all of our teams can afford to be competitive, and that's the system we have, and that's one of the reasons the game is as strong as it is right now. Our competitive balance is extraordinary. How it gets whacked up is a function of the system, and that's something that obviously the Players Association, is focused on tremendously. Obviously, as well, the more talented players should get more money than the less talented players.
Leveling the playing field, Forbes, they're not a be-all and end-all, but just numbers from them. The Rangers at $1.25 billion valuation, and the Carolina Hurricanes at $230. Are you structurally?
That's absurd.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm just telling you what the magazine said.
We just sold an expansion team
for $500
million.
Right.
I mean, Forbes doesn't have access to our numbers, and their methodology, I would suggest, is somewhat flawed.
Okay. Notwithstanding that, are you satisfied with your structural efforts to level the playing field?
I don't know what level the playing field means. I mean, all of our teams have an opportunity to be competitive, and as I said, we have the best competitive balance in sport. It doesn't matter which team you root for. Your team has a shot, and if you look at our standings, the race to the playoffs is extraordinary, and once the playoffs begin, anything can happen.
Speaking of that $500 million franchise, how excited are you to follow the successes of the Vegas Golden Knights?
I think they're going to do extraordinarily well. That's going to be a terrific market. Bill Foley is going to be a great owner. The fan base has already begun to show itself. They're in a terrific new arena. I think the vital signs are good. And I think being in Las Vegas is going to raise our profile, and that's not a bad thing either.
Frank Brown told me one more question, but now here's a second question, and then we're done. Life after the NHL for you? I keep asking it, and you keep looking at me like, why are you asking that question?
Why are you asking that question? I love what I do. I'm going to keep doing it.
Okay. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Awesome.
You must have a very steady hand.
Yeah. Kimberly Bakshi, our executive producer. Thank you, Frank Brown. Thank you, Commissioner Bettman. Thank you, Michael Roth. So we got everybody we needed to get, but before we sign off, we're going to just walk over here and look at the dynamics of this building. I don't know if I can stand up anymore after an hour of walking, of doing that. So let's take a look at this. We have Chick-Hearn Plaza. Is that Chick-Hearn Court? Okay. Take that. Michael Roth, who is the PR person extraordinaire of the King Staples Center everywhere. It's Chick-Hearn Court, JW Marriott, Ritz-Carlton, Microsoft Theater. Show us the execution.
And that was always the plan when we developed this whole area downtown Los Angeles, was Staples Center be a great anchor, but having everything here means the events can start much earlier in the day, can last much later into the night, and when we attract events, not just sporting events, conventions for the convention center right out our back door here, and we call them, as Lee referred to earlier, it's a no auto event. You get dropped off here on Wednesday or Thursday for a weekend of activities. We have 1,001 rooms in our hotel, and we're hoping to increase that. Downtown has got several new hotels going up because of the increased business. We're in our 1,001 rooms were in the 90% occupied last year, and so when you look at the events that we had, how active our campus has been. Microsoft Theater had the 100 athletes, greatest athletes of all time in the NHL. In Microsoft Square out here, we extended the life of our sheet of ice. We started this about 8 years ago in December, where we put the whole sheet of ice out, and it's become a tradition now in Los Angeles. Come downtown one evening in December and skate outdoors. We never had this before. Us together, and people don't need to come to the event half an hour before the event to get in and get their seat. You can come here 2-3 hours, see the people of the NHL Network broadcasting live, go to one of their restaurants, shoot a puck, or do some of the other fan things. And I'm really pleased to show that Habitat put out some of the small playhouses there.
Yeah.
The Kings this week with the NHL. We built some houses. Those are actually children's playhouses that will go in the backyards of some of the Habitat houses. But we did build the frames for, I think, half a dozen new Habitat houses as well. So that's what's also great about the All-Star experience is they give back to the community. They don't leave a community the same way it came. But no, we next week there will be a big convention at the convention center that will have a dinner out here, or and we may have a sustainability show at the convention center, have booths out here. Toyota during the auto show will do test drives in the street. People can walk up the building and see the statues of the greatest performers. It really is it's a city unto itself.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Roth with an unexpected visual tour of what it's like out at Chick-Hearn Plaza and LA Live. And hopefully you get some perspective of what it's like to compete in a 13 million person market and win. It's a combination of Luc Robitaille and the Kings and what he does to pursue excellence. It's also a combination of having an all-star game every once in a while to bump up tickets, but more important than that, thanks to the fans and everybody. It's also the ability to have a relationship through Dan Beckerman, AEG, top-down all over the world, and finally, obviously, Gary Bettman. You can tell how excited he is about this building, this team, this franchise, and his Sunbelt strategy. It's working. The NHL seems to be working all the way through. Gary Bettman has been a steward for well over 20 years, and he continues to run it very well. So next, we're on to the Super Bowl. Rick Horrow keeping score. See you next time.
Are you an inventor who would like to try to have an invention or idea patented and submitted to companies, but you don't know what to do next? Call for free information from InventHelp. InventHelp, a leading inventor service company, has been helping inventors since 1984 and has sales offices located in more than 60 cities nationwide. You'll want to talk to the company that has helped secure more than 7,000 invention patents. So call InventHelp. Even if you have an idea for improving an existing product and don't know where to go with it, you'll still want to call InventHelp for free information. You'll find out how InventHelp may assist you in trying to patent your invention and submit it to companies. So call now.
Call InventHelp at 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. Get your free information by dialing 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. 1-800-316-1738. Are you a business owner or an individual who owes the IRS? Then be prepared to write down an important phone number. Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes? Do you need to file back tax returns? Are you dealing with bank levies and wage garnishments? It's time to deal with your IRS problem today. Call Certified Tax Representation now. Certified Tax Representation, Inc. represents clients just like you in all 50 states. They will contact the IRS on your behalf the same day that you become a client, and you can become a client immediately. It's time for you to face your IRS problems. Think about how great you're going to feel when you're represented by a company who's an advocate for you, who knows the law, who also will contact the IRS the same day you become a client. Call today for your free, no-obligation consultation. Call now, 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064. Not all cases are typical, and some may not qualify. The consultation is free, and so is the call, so call right now. 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow with Beyond the Scoreboard. Houston, Super Bowl 51, right outside the door. Tickets aren't as hot as they were last year, according to StubHub, but 11% decrease, average $4,700 a ticket. Last year, 50th anniversary, Peyton Manning retiring, and all those corporations in the Bay Area. We understand the difference, but the tickets are pretty hot, internationally as well. StubHub tells us 7% of the requests are from Canada and Mexico, and they're getting requests from Hong Kong, Israel, South Africa, Australia, all over the globe. The bottom line is it is an incredibly international event, and it will get bigger. StubHub should know. Presence in 47 countries and growing. Super Bowl 51. This year, similar to last year, Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos, featuring one team with a franchise value in the top half of the league, facing another team with a franchise value in the bottom half of the spreadsheet. According to Forbes' 2016 NFL franchise valuations, New England Patriots' second most valuable team, valued at $3.4 billion, trailing only the Cowboys. On the other hand, the Atlanta Falcons' 19th most valuable team, $2.125 billion. To honor his franchise Super Bowl 51 berth, Falcons owner Arthur LeBlanc planning on paying for every single employee in the organization to attend the big game. This will represent more than 500 employees who Blank will cover, following the move Panthers owner Jerry Richardson made last year when he paid for everyone on the team's payroll, interns included, to make the trip to San Francisco. Last Super Bowl item, look to the future. Across the NFL, team owners continue to reinvest in stadiums, all trying to one-up the most recent state-of-the-art facility that opens up. Having a new stadium means an increased likelihood of drawing mega events, such as the Super Bowl and Final Four. And this past year, the Minnesota Vikings played their first game at US Bank Stadium, set to host next year's Super Bowl down in Miami. Steve Ross and the Dolphins completed their facelift of Hard Rock Stadium, and across the country in L.A. and the new City of Champions Stadium being planned to host both the Chargers and Rams. Public money being spent on these massive facility projects because a new stadium comes with more positive economic impact for the surrounding area. In Houston's case, the economic impact of Super Bowl 51 expected to offset the complete public cost to build the stadium, which should be around $500 million. I'm the sports professor, Rick Horrow.